Hi everyone, welcome to my little session on essay strategy. And this is basically what worked for me. That's the main disclaimer here. And please use this based on your needs and customize it based on your wisdom. So with essay, the first thing I want to say is that there is a lot of, right now, mainly because of the swing in marks, there has been some fear when it comes to essay writing. So what I want to tell you is there's nothing really to fear. Oh, and a note of accountability, I should mention that my essay marks were 114 this time. I'm not happy with these marks, mainly because my mock performance was really good. I was getting great feedback. Mark test was all, marks were in a good range, in a comfortable range. So I think I could have performed better here. I will self-reflect on what was different, but so there's scope for improvement. So you should know this little accountability. The first thing is, right now there is fear, but I can tell you that this will be one of the most enjoyable subjects that you can prepare. So for me, what used to happen is when I would get tired with general studies, I would fall back to the joys of essay writing. So while you might be scared of the subject essay right now, we can turn it into joy for you. So let's aim to do that through this strategy, okay? So we'll try to convert the environment of fear around essay into joy. And the most important thing it is that it's actually an opportunity. And I'll tell you what it is an opportunity for. Now you have to imagine, and a lot of people will tell you this, you have to imagine yourself being in the examiner's shoes and the examiner looking at multiple copies in a day and going through similar choice of topics and seeing it one after the other, right? So what is this an opportunity? Why am I calling it an opportunity? This particular paper is because it's an opportunity to demonstrate something about yourself. And what is that? The first thing you get an opportunity to demonstrate about yourself is your understanding. And your understanding of what? Your understanding of different issues affecting the world or your nation and the society at large, and also from multi-dimensional perspectives. So not just limited to one ideology or not just limited to one-sided thinking, but a very holistic understanding of these different issues from multiple perspectives. So you have to demonstrate in your essay how well you understand different issues. Next, you get to also demonstrate your ability of persuasion. So you are almost trying to weave a magic of your words and your ideas and trying to persuade your examiner into what you think about the issue, right? And your vision basis for that issue, basically. So how do we persuade? What we do is we make arguments and then we substantiate these arguments with examples, right? When you put all of this together, your understanding on multiple issues, on multiple perspectives, and your ability to persuade, the third thing you also do is you will demonstrate your vision and your ideas, and most importantly, your solutions, because an essay topic will largely talk about a problem or a certain condition or an issue. So you will demonstrate your solution orientedness, that yes, while you know that there are problems, that these problems exist from multiple perspectives, that you are a solution oriented person with optimism and ideas. So you will demonstrate your solution orientedness. And ultimately what you will also demonstrate is your leadership in the job you are applying for, which is basically a public servant of the country and a public leader, right? So ultimately what you will demonstrate is your originality. This is what you need to preserve for essay, and that is why I call it the most enjoyable subject that you can actually study. And this is going to be a relief for you from the other subjects that might be giving you more tension. So that's why I say that Let's stop being fearful of essay and make it into a real pure joy, right? So how do we do all this? This is great. It's a good vision, but what is the tangible and actionable steps that you need to take as a candidate? So how do we actually prepare for an essay? The reason essay is different from general studies is also because your preparation will almost be a life journal of sorts. When you go back to your notes for essay, so keep this in mind actually, write this down in bold in your notes wherever you are. How do you truly prepare? The first and foremost thing that helped me was to really view life around you with much more alertness and much more awareness in terms of what are you seeing? Are you seeing great success stories, great resilience stories around you? Are you seeing role models? Are you seeing certain problems and is your heart pouring out to them? Are you thinking of, oh, if I was a DM or if I was a ambassador or a secretary to a certain ministry, how would I solve this problem, right? So this is when you prepare, you will journal the life around you. So that's the first source. So, when I was also candidate, I would ask people, what is the source for this subject and what is the source for that subject? The greatest source for essay, why it makes it very enjoyable, is your life around you. So you will need to start actually viewing the world around you with much more alertness and awareness. Start applying theory. Start questioning theory that you're reading in your books and your classes to the life around you. So that will go into your journal. The second thing, of course, is news. So when you read your newspaper, the one advice I would give candidates is that when you read your newspaper, you will read it from the perspective of prelims, you will read it from the perspective of mains, general studies, you will also read it from the perspective of optional. So your mind actually, between prelims and mains, especially when you're reading the newspaper, or any other current source, compilations for that matter, whatever suits you, read it to pick on a few things in the news. First would be, let's say, data. Something like, if I recall correctly, approximately 70% of our prisoners are under trials, right? Which is a violation of rule of law and justice. So this particular data. Now, when you read it in the news and you truly apply this, when you feel for this and you feel for those prisoners who are under trial, a lot of them who are from low income families and cannot afford legal fees, cannot afford money for bail, when you feel for them, you sit in the exam, under exam pressure, this is what will actually be recalled first because you have attached emotions to it in a way, right? It wasn't just a number that you tried to rote learn and mug up. So when you see data, try to imagine the human faces and minds behind and hearts behind that little number. That's the first thing. This is how we'll read data. The second thing, of course, is examples and case studies. As a student and almost as somebody who loves public administration, one case study here that is immediately coming to my mind is the Lakhina model. So when I was reading about the Lakhina model, I actually used to imagine myself in that office looking at files that were disorganized, and I would imagine what that the sir who brought Lakhina model in the district, I'm forgetting the district's name, I would imagine being in his shoes and really trying to improve the efficiency of my office space. So when you do that again, really live your life through these examples and case studies and imagine yourself in their shoes, because what that does is, again, it's not just a theoretical example you've read in a book, it comes to life, it comes alive for you and you'll be able to recall it during exam. So examples, case studies from newspaper, and then quotes. You can create a little diary and keep quotes, just keep quotes written down. We'll also talk about organization. What happens is all of this that I'm talking about need to be organized better. So we'll talk about that later. So news is the other source, and the other source is GS. That's another reason why the subject is very enjoyable. Everything you read in GS, you will be able to truly see how you can use your GS knowledge and content for the purpose of essay. So that is a great tool in your overall toolkit. So use your GS knowledge for essay as well. One source I would say don't use is the model books, model essay books, because what happens is it affects your originality, and we don't want that, right? We want to, if there are 12,000 candidates writing mains, you don't want to be just another model essay in their volumes of papers that they're checking. You want to be original. So I would say don't go for these model essay books that give you a ready-made essay for every topic. Practice essays, that's important. So I'll just use this space here. So practice reading those 4 topics in one go. Practice choosing your topic. Which topic are you finally going to choose? This exercise in itself can make or break your essay. A lot of candidates will choose a topic, will spend those 10 minutes to look at the 4 topics, and then they will decide on a topic very excitedly. But somewhere in the middle, they'll realize that maybe they should have chosen another one. We don't want that. We definitely don't want the panic as well when you realize that maybe you could have done an essay better. So put yourself in this exam condition and practice this exercise, which has to be done in roughly 10 minutes out of the 3 hours that you get. So practice this very rigorously so that your brain memory and muscle is trained to make better choices in which essay you will finally write. So this is with regards to practice, and write as many essays as you can. What happens with us is we have a certain inertia. Let me just erase this. So initially you will feel inertia to actually even start writing an essay, and that's okay. It's completely okay. It happened with me. When you start writing essays, you feel very scared and you feel hesitant to actually start writing them. So break this inertia, just write an essay and don't worry about the marks and the quality. I promise you that the more essays you write, the more fear you overcome, your performance will keep going up. So break this inertia and just write essays. That's one thing. I'll just get to how to actually perform and write an essay. Everyone knows that there are 3 parts to an essay: the introduction, body, and conclusion. This part is usually well known, so I'll be a little quicker in this. In your introduction, you have to look for 2 things. You have to make sure that your introduction is impactful because it's the first impression you create for your examiner. But at the same time, you also have to make sure that your introduction is relevant. Because if the relevance factor is missing, your examiner might perceive that you've not understood the topic right, even though you have. So whatever introduction you plan to write, make sure it is relevant to the topic you've chosen. The next thing is body. And body is again persuasion, this part. So and even introduction is persuasion. So all of this is where you persuade your examiner to believe in your understanding of the issue and the ideas and solutions that you're giving. So for that purpose, again, body, you will make an argument, a very succinct and a very impactful argument, and then you will support it with examples. This also helps with your planning. When you get the time to plan your essay, if you truly visualize it this way, that okay, what is the argument I will make and what are the examples I will give. So this can be a good way to plan your essay. The next thing, of course, is conclusion. And in conclusion, what I would do is I would always give ideas. I would always give my vision and my solutions for the problem that we've discussed. And then I would also, so ideas and solutions. And I would also summarize. This basically helps you land really well. And it gives you a little roundedness to your essay and ensures that you've not ended abruptly. So this is one. The other thing we also do in body is when you are giving arguments, you would also do one counter argument. So this is also important. Maybe in a subsequent video, I'll actually get down to the specifics of this. But so we do our arguments and we also counter the topic itself. What that does is it shows that you are also thinking from another perspective that is not mentioned in the topic. So counter arguments is done. And yes, so this is basically what your essay will look like. One thing I can also talk about, which is something that helped me, is next how to organize your thoughts during the preparation phase. So let's come back here and let's say that you have been reading news, you have been reading GS, and you also have all of your life accumulated knowledge and the examples you've seen around in the world. So when you are here, how do you take all of those small examples and the data and really organize it? What used to help me, and you can do this on paper and pen as well, I would use an Excel sheet, and I would, so let's say this is my Excel sheet, and maybe on pen and paper or journals, you'll use another method, but I used to have these tables. I would have essay here, GS1 here, GS2 here, GS3 here, and GS4 here. I would have a larger topic here. So let's say we are talking about prison reforms. The larger issue is prison reforms. The data that you've just read in the newspaper is the 70% figure I just told you. Prisoners are under trial. Now this data sheet, what you will do is, in an essay, you will think about how will you use this fact, and this is a mental exercise. So you will think of, okay, if I will use this if there is a topic on justice. So for example, during my attempt in 2023, there was a topic which said that a country that has justice does not need charity. All right. So if this is the topic that came in the essay, you can use this data, right? A country that has justice does not need charity. You can use this figure very well. Then can you use it in GS1? Yes, you can use it for social justice. Even prison reforms if they come here. In GS2, again, prison reforms, polity, judiciary. So all of this. So these are different topics. Now, what you are doing with this table and this particular data is you are exercising your brain to be able to tap into the data you know, but use it in different ways during exam pressure. So this is it's like brain gym in a way. The third thing, maybe 70% prisons are under trial. How can it affect, what does it relate within GS3? You can think of the fact that if justice is a problem because of this, then can it affect FDI? Right? Can it affect our rankings? Because of pendency issues, then does it affect sort of your credit ratings and FDI? So that is the relation you build here in this paper. In GS4, of course, ethics, again, justice, inequality. Because as I mentioned earlier, 70% of the under trials, a large proportion of them are from low income families. So you can mention that in inequality. Also, if you are if your optional is the public administration, which was mine, then you can use it in prison reforms, organizations. So these are the things. Now, what I'm trying to show you here is that in your journey of UPSC preparation, your mind is able to only accumulate so much information, facts, data, examples, right? There is a limit. It will retain examples that have made a connection with your heart and your emotional quotient, your EQ, and you will be able to pull it up faster. So here, when I was talking earlier about, are you truly believing in this problem and are you truly believing in this problem and do you have ideas to solve it? You will be able to recall this fact during the exam pressure. And because of this brain gym that you've been doing for a year, you'll be able to apply the same fact in all the subjects. So we don't have to run behind too many facts and worry about rote learning them. We just have to train our mind and our heart to be able to apply them because we believe in the problem. That's the main lesson here. So how you can organize the different data and case studies and examples you are reading. That I think is it. This was what helped me in my essay journey and made it enjoyable for me. For me, it was a break from the regular studies. So yeah, that's my strategy. And if there are any questions, I guess they can post it on comments. That's it. Thank you.